soy latte?
We started True Grounds, Rhett and myself. I worked at a cafe beforehand, and then Rhett worked in the corporate office, and he was my boss, and I reported to him. And we just got to know each other and started talking, and really liked the atmosphere and the cafe vibe, but we're really ready to move forward and kind of get our feet wet.
There's definitely a motivation to work for yourself, too.
That's when we kind of just decided to kind of come together and create a cafe.
We've been in business about 3.5 years now.
There's a lot that went into it. Rhett and I actually initially really wanted to get outside of the city, but we just couldn't find any place that was suitable. It was very saturated. We wanted to go to Western Massachusetts, but real estate there was not really great.
And we couldn't really find a spot either.
Yeah, the spots were really difficult to find. And actually I had come into Ball Square and ate across the street and saw that these two places were for sale. And there were two different businesses with the option to possibly join the two spots. And so Rhett and I took a look at it, and we went from there. Oh yeah. It's difficult to figure out what you're going to do, especially after graduation. Yeah.
What did you study?
My schooling was for accounting, and right after college I got a job with the CPA firm, and I gave my notice 3 weeks later because I realized that was not where I wanted to be at that time. So I was wearing my suit every day and very strict, very cold environment. And then I continued with accounting, but with a very liberal entertainment club, and it was a good fit for me there. So that's kind of, I think, what kept me into the accounting mode.
I went to school for sports marketing, and the reason why I moved down here was for a job here. But the company ended up being bought out by a larger company, and I didn't like the way it was going. It wasn't grassroots anymore, it was more corporate. So I left, and then actually ended up just working in a cafe and loved it, and ended up co-managing. So yeah, you find out what you really like, I think, later on. Everything that I've gained and all the experience that I've had is pretty much like food service or hospitality or, customer service. So I think in the back of my mind was always where I was going to be. He worked in restaurants and cafes before, but mostly behind the scenes doing the numbers.
I was the numbers geek.
Yeah. So it kind of worked.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it worked pretty well.
Oh, we started pretty much for the first 2 years on the brink of financial collapse. It was a very rough road.
Very rough.
So,
physically, emotionally, financially, every aspect that you could imagine. We were up to 99 to 100 hours a week in the first 6 months, and then got down to like 80 after that for almost the following 6 months.
Our parents both helped us out financially, just paying our rents, because for the first years we couldn't pay ourselves at all.
And just even, outside of opening this, just the obstacles we faced with the city, like the layout of the store, that we weren't zoned for a food place when in fact it has been a food place for about 10 years. Just funny things like that just kind of came up, and we were confused.
We were initially only allowed to have 9 people, seating permit in here.
And then obviously, building contractors, that sort of thing, where they say they're going to show up and they don't.
During our first week, 2 of our refrigeration units went out, of course.
Mm-hmm. That's
so,
right. That's right. Mm-hmm.
$4,000 later, you're able to,
That's rough. Got it fixed, but, that meant another month that we didn't get paid. So, yeah, there's been a lot of ups and downs. In the beginning, we didn't really know how busy we were going to be, so we kind of overstaffed. And one weekend, we understaffed, and it was our first weekend here, and it was just Rhett and myself. It was chaos. We had a juicer, and the vegetables were flying out of the juicer, and it was just kind of funny and crazy, and
I wanted to cry.
And we wanted to cry. But we got over that, whatever. A couple months later, we got things kind of down pat, but things have become much simpler for us.
Found a cat in the bathroom one time.
Yeah.
which is now my cat for
Great.
2 years. No, it was just
How
it
that
was.
happened.
We'll leave the doors open during like nice weather so you get some fresh air going, and I think it just decided to come in, which ended up being a very sick, very old cat. But he's my cat. He's a wonderful cat.
It varies actually. One of us opens, and then the other is usually coming in later to close, or it's the daily routine of opening the store, baking. He does all of the baking, so he's got to spend most of the time back there.
I had never really baked things before, but like as I said before, we were so slow when we opened. The minimum amount we could get from vendors was tremendously more than we sold per day, so we were losing just in excess that much more money. So yeah, we kind of decided we almost had to learn how to start making our own pastries. Yeah, we got some recipes down and kind of just keep evolving with it now.
Yeah.
Not that I love baking, but
No, he does. He's very good at it, though. And then obviously he's part of the staff as well, so he has to help out with the front and do other things. And then obviously
we all do dishes.
the bank and all that stuff, the books. Yes, we all do dishes. Yes, we do.
You just get someone your card.
No, we do. Everyone does their share here. Every bit. Just do what you love if you can. And in the meantime, like supplement that with your hobbies, so that you're not going crazy. But again, like I didn't really know what I was going to do. I knew that had it be, take over my father's business or something like that, it was definitely not going to be something behind a desk. That I knew. I knew that for a fact from early on. If you're an active kid, it's probably you're going to be in my shoes, like in our shoes, like you're probably going to be on your feet a lot.
I think the best advice for someone who's wanting to open something up would be to really shadow someone else who's doing it before they ever try to get their feet wet doing it.
Hands-on experience is probably first and foremost. You can't walk into anything and expect to know exactly how everything's going to run. Like you don't know everything. You need to admit that first. But hands-on, the experience is probably exactly what you need before you kind of jump into something.
I think at this point now, after the hurdle, the joy of the job is kind of hopefully the idea of being able to take time off when you want. If it is now that you can take 2 weeks off and go travel somewhere you've never been before. Previous jobs have never had that opportunity. Never took more than 3 days off in a row. And there's just something about not having the stress of dealing with a supervisor or deadlines.
I think what I enjoy most is the environment and how I guess the people that you work with is the most important, and that's always been the most important for me. When I left the job that was in my field, I didn't enjoy the people I worked with. It wasn't, I guess, uplifting, or it didn't feel good. And at the end of the day here, like seeing people come in and enjoy where they're coming and where they're going, and the people that we work with, it's a great feeling.
Great. I think that's
You're good?
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, you're welcome.